And as soon as you're in your ego, you're thinking. And that's going to create a power struggle, because there's going to be you pushing out your idea or your demand or your request or whatever's going on. And it's going to be forceful. And force always meets counter force. There's always a pushback. So if I'm attempting to get my point across, that attempt is going to be met with their attempt to get their point across. And then the tennis game is on. You're serving back and forth your opinions or your views or your needs. And you'll create a power struggle, and there will be effort. And when there's effort, there isn't clarity. So when you need to get the point across, you notice that there could be effort happening, there could be struggle. And then you stay in an open presence, a posturing that really does allow what I can best describe as your heart to be open and your alignment to occur, so that instead of leaning into the person or pushing your point to them, there's an ability and a willingness and an interest and a care to be right there with what you know you want to say and keep it alive, but also know it for yourself. So you know what you need to say and what you need. That's a lot. What happens for most people in a relationship is they get out of touch with their needs, or they give up, or they think, oh, I've tried so many times, they never listen. And they just give up. And there's this helplessness that's developed. And instead, if you know what you need and you know what you want to say, that's of value. If you keep that alive, even if there isn't an ability to communicate it to the other person, that will help you to know yourself more. That will allow the inner awareness to continue to be cultivated. So the way that I've discovered this on a real sensible level is, notice, for example, there's a person that I talk to that's so difficult that as soon as I attempt to start to communicate with her, right away I can feel a self-consciousness, like, oh boy, this isn't going to work. Or I hope she's listening, or I hope I got her at a good time. So there's a whole bunch of stories that are attached to just making a simple request. And so I'll notice I'm having all those ideas go on, and then I'll stay in the truth. Like saying what I came with, what I wished to express or communicate. And in that place, there's a much more relaxed physical, mental, emotional state that'll allow for greater clarity. Whether or not you're met in that clarity, whether or not they hear you is not your job, because other people's opinion has nothing to do with us. It's how do we keep knowing what we know in a connection, in a relationship, and keep it going, even if we can't communicate it to the other person, because that allows for kind of like a healthy backlash. It comes back into you, and you know it for yourself. And that self-knowledge of knowing what you need and communicating it, or attempting to communicate it, helps you keep knowing yourself. And then maybe you can't have the exchange with that person, and you can know yourself better. That's of value, because ultimately our life is about living a truthful expression of who we are. And where we can do that, we build on it. We develop it more. I mean, I think we all know that we have people in our lives that we can go to with certain needs and interests, and others we don't dare. We know to stay over there. And having that awareness cultivates a very rich life. There's more passion, because you are going where what you had to live and share is developed.